Hi, welcome to episode 213 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. My name is Laura. I'm also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this show's show notes and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Corner of Knit and Tea where I sell my handspun yarns, and we have a Ravelry group called The Corner of Knit and Tea. Hi, how are you? I hope that you are having a wonderful weekend. It is Sunday, January 6th, and our weekend has been lovely because it has been up in the 50s, which is unheard of for Kansas in the middle of winter. January is usually quite cold, but we are just having an unseasonably warm weekend, which means I have been able to walk outside, and the weather has just been beautiful, and we've been able to take off the coats and open the windows a little bit, and we are always grateful for that breath of fresh air, especially in the middle of winter. It breaks it up a little bit. So I have had kind of a crazy busy week. The new year was in the middle of the week. I wish you all a happy new year. I hope that you enjoyed celebrating with family and friends, and that 2019 brings you great things. I am already excited for 2019 knitting projects and all kinds of things. And then what else can I tell you? Yesterday I went to a local fiber fest, which was a lot of fun. I actually forgot to bring my purchases, although you'll see one of them because I'm going to spin it next. It is a fiber festival about 2 hours west of me. It's a little west of Topeka, Kansas. And it always happens in January, although this year it's a little bit earlier. Usually it's towards the end of January. And it's always dicey as to whether the weather is going to cooperate so we can drive out there. But a whole group of us met for brunch and then drove out there, and we shopped and had a really nice afternoon. And we got back about 4:30, so I still had the evening to craft. And it was a lovely day. It does mean that today is set for chores. I'm recording early in the morning. I think it's a little after 9 a.m. now. And I do have lots and lots that I need to do today before I can put my feet up and craft, which I'm really looking forward to doing. So let's get started with the podcast. Today I am drinking, so one of the things I love about my local knitting group, we meet every Wednesday night, and we've been doing it probably for a little over 10 years now. So there are a ton of us in the group who also drink tea. So we get all these impromptu tea swaps as everybody brings suspicious looking packages in Ziploc bags. This is how we exchange tea. So today I'm drinking Tea Market, which is our local tea shop, decaf blueberry mango black tea, and it smells amazing. It has been in my project bag for the last week and a half, and it has been making my project smell amazing. Every time I open the project bag, I get this whiff of like blueberry and mango, and it's so delicious. And I'm drinking it in a beautiful mug. I didn't bring the lid, but this is a mug that a friend sent me a long time ago, probably almost 10 years ago as well, because I'm pretty sure I had it before I moved here. But it is a lovely mug, and I'm excited to be drinking yummy tea. And that is fruity and delicious, and I am loving it. I actually would take it in a caffeinated version, but I'm okay with it as decaf. So that is what the tea that I'm drinking today. Before I start, I want to say a bit of administrative. I still have the copy of Curls. Laura, you haven't contacted me. So if the winner will contact me this week, I will get the prize out to you. If I do not hear from you this week, by the time I record next, I will select a new winner. So that'll give you a total of 2 weeks to respond to me. And if I haven't heard from you, I will award this to someone else. But this is timely that I still have this because I finished my shawl from Curls 3. So I knit Rhodonite. And again, Curls 3 is a book it is called Versatile Wearable Wraps to Knit at Any Gauge by Hunter Hammersen. I reviewed this on the podcast a couple weeks back when I announced the giveaway. Just as a recap, the premise is that you can knit shawls with whatever yarn you have, however much you have, and using some geometric concepts, some rectangles and triangles and such. Basically, Hunter Hammersen has come up with a formula where you start at one point and continue growing, and mostly you just keep going until you run out of yarn. So I showed you, I talked to you first about the hand spun that I was going to use, and then I rethought that and decided to use a pack of minis and a larger single color of the same yarn. They were all basically solids. I'm not even sure I'd call them semi-solids, but they're all beautifully dyed solids. It was something that I had gotten at a local Fiber Fest a while ago, a local dyer, and so I was excited to use it in the stash because I hadn't been sure what I would do with it when I bought it, and I bought it 3 or 4 years ago. This year's theme, I think, is going to be try and use things from stash, which is not to say I won't buy, but I think... Okay, I'm totally getting sidetracked here. When I went to the festival yesterday, I bought some stuff, and I was super happy to buy and support local dyers. And I think I decided that this year I'm going to try only to buy at like festivals and events. And I'm going to quite a few events, both for my job and for fun. Like my next event will be Flyaway in April, and then I also have a creative crafty show that I'm going to in a couple weeks for work. So I think I will have enough opportunities to like buy when we travel, and so I think my theme for the year is going to be mostly to buy in person rather than online. And I don't say that because I don't want to buy from online shops. I have tons of friends. I have an online shop. I just have so much, and I would like to work through some of my stash this year. Now, of course, I'm going to fall down and buy from other places. I know that. But I think I'm going to try and keep it as a goal to sort of buy intentionally when I go shopping, because it's so easy to add so much to your cart. So, to get back to my current, I bought this yarn several years ago, and it was a set of minis and then a larger contrasting skein, and I knit the Rhodonite Shawl from Curls. And as I said, all the shawls start at a point, although I guess actually it started at, let me think about this. It started at this point over here, and then it just grew over time as we added more and more. And I ended up with a fairly sizable shawl, which was a little bit of a surprise to me. I wasn't sure how big it was going to be. This shawl was technically written for DK weight yarn, so I used fingering weight yarn. I upped it to 6s because it's a shawl, so I'm okay if it's a little drapey and gauzy and see-through. I wouldn't do that on a sweater, but or certainly not on socks or anything. This was 100% merino, and I knew I wanted to use it for a shawl. So I did run out of yarn at the end of most of the colors. The only color I had a little bit left over of any worth mentioning, and even that was only about 10 grams, was the yellow, the mustard yellow, which had been the big solid color. And at the end, as you can see, I had to improvise and start doing a bunch of different stripes, and then I could only bind off in the dark color. And actually, I even ran out of that because, as you'll see at the last little bit, where I am, I ran out and I had to do the last little bit in the dark blue. So this is, I truly used up 2 of the colors all the way. There's like nothing left. Totally ran out of them. 3 of the colors I have little bits left over, so like enough to maybe put into my sock yarn blanket, but no more than that. And then, like I said, I have about 10 grams of the yellow left over, and that's just because it was a 100-gram skein, and so I was trying, no, actually it was a 50-gram skein. But I was just trying to match the lengths that I had of the others. I did feature the mustard a little bit more prominently. Anyway, so I kind of went by the seat of my pants. One of the ways that I plotted out colors, which I thought was super helpful, is I opened an Excel spreadsheet and I found the colors that I thought approximately matched the colors that I had, and I plotted it out in Excel the way I thought it looked nice, and then I just wrote those colors down and followed that through the patterning. So that is my Rhodonite. I'm super happy with it. I will have to figure out how to wear it, mostly because it is very asymmetrical, but I think I can still get away with kind of this, which is how I wear most of my shawls, kind of bandana style. And worst case, if that doesn't hold, I can probably find a pretty shawl pin to use. So I am very, very pleased with this, and it was a wonderful knit. It was super easy. The pattern was charted in the book, and actually I did make a mistake. I said previously that the instructions were written. They're not exactly written. She does write out sort of the basics of what you're going to be doing, but you do have to follow the chart on this one to get the chevron. you know, to follow the increases and decreases to get your chevron patterning. Anyway, it was a lovely pattern. I really, really enjoyed it. I certainly have more curls in my future. There are several really lovely textural pieces in the first book that are like heavily patterned and would need to be done in solids. But the first book has always captured my heart. And I really need to just go out and buy it. But the third book is lovely, and it's all about using speckles and colors and gradients and a lot of fun. So like I said, this is my Rhodonite by Hunter Hammersen from Curls 3, knit in, the fibers were Stone Soup fibers. Unfortunately, they do not have an online presence. She commented on my photo on Instagram last night today, but she has no pictures on Instagram. And as far as I know, she only vends at festivals, so it's not super easy to get, but gradient packs and minis are all over the place, so I'm sure you could do something similar. So very pleased with that, and that is done, and it's super nice. I knit this super fast. This is probably 650 yards of yarn, and I knit it between December 24th and January 4th. So basically like 10-11 days cranked this out. So it went super fast, partially because I was so interested in it. So yeah. So that's the first project done and off the needles. The second project that I am working on is my Christmas Eve cast-on socks. I have not done as much with them. I guess I was mostly concentrating on the shawl. I do have my first finished sock. The pattern is, let me think about this, Partying Up and Getting Down by Megan Williams, who is Just Run Knit and Stockinette Zombies, the Stockinette Zombie podcast. I think she's the zombie knitter on Ravelry, but her Instagram is Just Run Knit. It's a really interesting pattern where, like I said, you build some wedges, so then you're knitting the sock on the bias, and then you do some short rows towards the end to even it out, and then get yourself your toe. The colorway that I am using is Joyful Noise. It is a stripey from Knitterly Things Vesper, and from Knitterly Things, it's their Vesper striping sock yarn. It is 75/25 superwash merino nylon, and then I am using some Dale Uli Dale Baby Uli for the cuffs, heels, and toes. I just wanted a solid so I didn't have to break up the stripes so much, and it's not quite a match, but it's close enough that I think it works. And so that is the first sock done. I just finished this yesterday. When did I finish? Oh, I might have finished this Friday night? No, I think I finished this last night. And so this one is done, and I need to cast on and start for the second sock. That is on my list for this afternoon. I'm hoping to finish the second sock this week. I'll try and devote some effort to it because I still would like to knit a pair of socks in this colorway for Roxy for Valentine's Day, and I should definitely have enough left over given that I use the contrasting heels and toes. And hopefully I'll even have enough pink left over that I can do some extra pink on hers too, because I think she would love that. So that is my first Christmas Eve cast on. I am doing the, I'm using US 1s, which is 2.25 millimeters, my signatures, and I am following the pattern for the 56 stitch sock, although you add some extra stitches in for the bias, but it is a paid for pattern, so I'm not going to give all of that away. So my hope is to do that, do the second one this week and be done with these, and I'm very excited because I love my Christmas yarns, and even though I won't probably wear them too much until next year, I already have a Christmas pair for next year. And I will say that I really liked our Christmas in July knit along this year, so I think maybe we'll do Christmas socks in July again, although I'm not sure I have another Christmas colorway to knit, so I'm gonna have to rectify that. I better check and see if there are any Christmas colorways on discount right now, because in July I don't know that I'll be able to find any. But Christmas socks, so that is what I'm working on. So last week I talked to you about the Selfish Craft Along, which is make something for yourself in the month of January. And I also added that to, added to that theme, I've always wanted to. And like I've said, I've always wanted to is super broad. First of all, I include any crafts, so sewing, knitting, spinning, weaving, crocheting, I think that was what I included in that, but if you can come up with another craft, I can probably allow it. And the I've always wanted to is very broad. It can be a pattern you've always wanted to knit, a technique you've always wanted to try, a yarn you've always wanted to use, fabric, fiber, something you've always wanted to do, and you just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I showed you last week some yarn. I want to do a brioche shawl that I've wanted to do forever, in yarn that I've wanted to do forever, and I didn't bring it back today because I haven't cast on yet. I just finished the Rhodonite Shawl on Friday, and last night I was finishing up my spin, and I was hoping to get to cast on, and I found out that I still needed to wind one of those big skeins, and so I did that last night. So my plan is to cast on for my shawl today. So this evening when I put my feet up, I'm going to start my second sock and hopefully get through the ribbing and some of the cuff and to start my selfish knit along. So I did not bring that today, but next week I hope to bring that with some good progress. The next cast on is a review yarn, and so I brought that today to show you so I can take some nice pictures of the yarn and so I can get ready to cast on. I was offered, I guess it was before Christmas, because I've had the yarn for a little bit while, even though I knew my review wasn't due until early this year. The yarn is Kraemer Perfections Worsted, and it is a 30% domestic merino, 70% acrylic yarn. It is really nice. It is really soft. I've worked with this before. Care instructions are machine wash gently, tumble dry. So this is definitely, Kraemer Yarns is one of the oldest mills in the United States, and they produce a variety of yarns, both wools and wool acrylics and full acrylics. And they also have some cottons as well, I think. They produce a really nice line of workhorse yarns that are perfect for like baby blankets, kids garments, things that are going to get a lot of wear and are going to need a lot of washing attention. So, and I would wear these as well for myself, but for those of you who are not, you know, super into acrylics, it is a really nice yarn to use for children's garments. And so when they offered me the opportunity to pick up several skeins, I did, and I'm gonna knit a sweater for Miles because he, well, he's a little over 2 now, and I'm planning to basically knit this sweater for his October birthday. I know I'm crazy ahead of the game, but when I get the opportunity to use materials that would be perfect for a project, I take it. So, like I said, Kraemer Yarn sent me this yarn. It is Perfection Worsted, and the skeins themselves are 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, approximately 200 yards, and they are very reasonably priced. I don't have the price with me today, but I will bring it next week when I talk. And so what I did is I selected 2 skeins of this kind of oatmeal color, which is called Marble, and then I selected 2 skeins of greens. And so I have kind of a bluey green, which is Puddle, and then I have this darker bluey green, which is Peacock. And so what I thought I'm gonna do, what I think I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna do the Baby Sophisticate sweater. Well, it's not Baby Sophisticate. I think it's Child Sophisticate. It's the Baby Sophisticate is free. It's a pattern by Linden Down, and I think it's Linden Down. I'll have to double check. But I have knit that multiple times as baby gifts. And then I purchased the child pattern, is a pay-for pattern, but has multiple child sizes. So then you can go up to, I think it goes up to 9 or 10, but it may be more than that. So my thought is that what I want to do, and it's a really cute cardigan with like a big shawl collar. It's a little grandpa-ish looking, like grandpa-ish style. And so my thought is that I want to do the top and the shawl collar and the cuffs in the kind of oatmeal colorway, which like I said is Marble. And then I want to do some striping with the greens on the body and sleeves. So a little across between like a Letterman-ish type sweater or like a grandpa cardigan shawl with lots of big stripes. So that is my plan. I should have leftover yarn because this right here is 800 yards and I don't think I'll need that to knit a size 3 to 4 year sweater. So I'm excited about that because he'll probably get matching hat and maybe mittens if I have enough yarn. And like I said, I know it's super early in the year, but I do like to spread out my knits for the kids throughout the year so that when their birthdays and cold winter weather comes, I have stuff. So I'm going to start on this one this week because I have a review due, I think this month. It might be February. I can't remember what I committed to. I have to look. But so that is what I'm going to be working on, and I wanted to show you that. And like I said, the yarn is super soft, durable. It's got some wool content, so it should block nicely and wear nicely and not be sort of 100% acrylic. But the acrylic in it makes it very, very washable and easy care. And I'm hoping it will be great for a 3-year-old boy who's just going to run around and get into everything because he's already running around and getting into everything. So that's his sweater, and I will be working on that. I hope to cast that on and at least get a chunk of it, maybe get into the striping this week. So lots of knits for this week, and I'm super excited to do that. So let's jump to fiber, and then I think we'll be done. This one will be a little shorter than the last several have been. Last week I showed you a really cool braid called Mandarin from Hello Yarn. It was, I believe, tarhi, bamboo, and silk, which is a really, really nice blend. And I finished that. It was Mandarin for, this year, Hello Yarn is doing her clubs on birds, photos of birds, and so it was a Mandarin duck, and she pulled some of the colors out of it that are not necessarily the colors that you would think of, but she took the photo, and in her group, when she announces kind of the spoilers for the club fiber and shows you what it looks like, she's also been showing you the photo that she used as inspiration and then the colors that she pulled from that photo. So it was actually purples and oranges and blues, and it has knit up into, it has spun up into a really nice kind of tweedy yarn. I don't know how much you can see, but it's purples and oranges and blues and some white, and it's a little bit muted, which I think is a function of the bamboo in there, because bamboo always adds like a really lightened, it doesn't take the acid dyes, so it always offers like a real light component, sort of an ethereal, dreamy component, and it kind of mutes things just a little bit. I find that that's often the case. So this one is just off the wheel this morning. I just pulled it off and skeined it up. I will wash it and plump it, give it its glamour shots, and get it up in the shop. My suspicion is that it will be over 400 yards. It will probably plump up a little bit because tarhi does that. It would make lovely socks, although it is not superwash. It would make lovely socks, or it should be enough for a shawlette or accessories. So that one will definitely be up in the shop soon, and it was a really nice spin. I enjoyed spinning this one this week. So next on the wheel is a great braid that I picked up at the festival yesterday. So this is called Star-Lord, and it is a merino tencel blend, and it is from Art Club, which is the name that the Harveyville project goes by. Harveyville is where Yarn School is held, and Nicole, who is the proprietress of Harveyville, also publishes or produces dyed yarns and all kinds of things under Art Club. It is at artclub.etsy.com, and so you can see it is Art Club, hand dyed, comb to top, and then like I said, it is merino tencel, and it is in the colorway Star-Lord. It is blacks and blues and pink and purple, and then just this little bit of orange every so often. So this was just kind of a fun braid, and I couldn't pass it up, and it is what will be on my wheel this week, and this will also be destined for the shop. Tencel tends to do a lot of the same things as bamboo. As you can see the spots where it has taken the color but slightly differently, and so it will again add a little bit of that ethereal to it. I hope it won't mute it that much because the colors are just really lovely, and I would really like to keep those pops of pink in there to sort of match the darker, or be visual interest on the darker color. But I am super excited about this one, and way to get my Fibers Festival fiber on the wheel. I just looked at it and I was like, that's going to be my next spin. So that's what I'm going to work on this week. So continue to enter the knit along. Laura, if you're watching, contact me to win your prize. Otherwise, I'll be giving this away to someone else in the drawing next week. I think I am current on all other prizes and craft alongs, and I think that's it for this week. I wish you a happy new year. I hope you are enjoying your crafting time, setting out goals. At least here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is, well, not this weekend, it's not terribly chilly, but in general, before we got to this weekend that was in the 50s, we were running in the 30s every day. It's cold. I want to knit all the things. I have at least 2 more sweaters I want to cast on for myself. I have at least 2 more shawls I want to cast on for myself. So the next few months will definitely be busy and I hope productive, and I'm sure that I will have other things to work on. I would really like to design some this year, so I'm kind of mulling over ideas in my head for that. And so yeah, I guess that's here. And I will see you next week, and then after that my podcast schedule will get a little crazy for a couple weeks because I'll be doing some traveling, but I'll discuss that more next week. So I'm gonna stop rambling and say to you, I hope you have a lovely week, and until I see you again, happy knitting, happy spinning, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.